hurt you, then blamed you for bleeding, this one's for you. For the time they lashed out, then stood back and waited for pain to register on your face, only to say you're overreacting. For the time you cried and they said your tears made them feel uncomfortable. For the time they betrayed you and then turned around like you were the one who broke something. This one's for you. For the time they said, "Oh, I was just joking," after cutting you down. For the time you brought up the hurt and then they called you dramatic. For the time they shattered your trust, then they said, "See, this is why I don't open up to you." For the time you got angry and they pointed at your anger as proof that you were the problem. For the time you bled and they blamed the wound on your skin being too thin. It was slow realizing all of this, wasn't it? Because it took you time to see it wasn't you, that your reaction wasn't the crime, their behavior was. That feeling hurt isn't weakness, it's evidence that you have a heart. You weren't too much. You were reacting to too little care, too little truth, too little safety. And maybe now you're learning. The more you protected them, the more you abandoned yourself. But not anymore. Eventually, you shifted toward power. You stopped apologizing for your emotions. You didn't shrink just to keep their peace. You learned that silence in the face of cruelty is not weakness. It's survival. And you know what? You were just done doing nothing but survive. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to say no. And when someone hurts you, you're allowed to bleed without apology. This is for the times you sat in a room full of people but felt completely alone because no one saw what was happening behind closed doors. For the time you asked for help and they said, "I just think you're overthinking again." For the time you kept quiet, not because you didn't have words, but because you knew they wouldn't believe you. For the time you convinced yourself maybe it is your fault, because that felt safer than admitting just how cruel the narcissist really was. That's what blame does. It doesn't just silence your voice, it severs your sense of reality. You weren't the storm, you were standing right in the middle of it. You weren't overreacting, you were underprotected. You didn't cause the chaos. You stopped pretending it was all normal. And the moment you stopped accepting their version of the story, you were writing your own. You didn't make it up. You weren't too sensitive. You were simply waking up to the truth. This one's for the day you stopped letting them write your story. This one's for you. For those of you who are new to this podcast, I'm Kyle Hackley, attorney and author of Undercurrent. Undercurrent tells the story of Annie. Annie's a young woman who had the courage to break free from her narcissistic marriage. But it's so important to understand that Annie just isn't a character in the book. She's not even just one person. She's anyone, any man, any woman who has ever experienced narcissistic abuse, I'd say she's a symbol. She's a voice for every person who's been blamed, silenced, or attacked for telling the truth. If any part of this message resonates with you, then this one is for you. And as always, I want you to remember that you are stronger than you ever believed. You are a warrior against narcissistic abuse. I want you to be tenacious and never, ever give up on what's important to you. Please know that I see you. I appreciate you. And until next time, please take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.